You know, so people say to me, do you believe in God? And I think, okay, there's a couple of mysteries in that question. What do you mean do? What do you mean you? What do you mean believe? And what do you mean God? And you say as the questioner, well, we already know what all those things mean, except belief in God. And I think, no, if we're going to get down to the fundamental brass tacks, we don't really know what any of those things.
He can't answer you if he believes in God. He has to tiptoe and obfuscate around the answer.
I say, I don't believe in ghosts. And you say, no, you do believe in ghosts. Ghosts are your relationship to the unseen. That's a ghost. So you have a new definition of ghost that you're putting in the place provided, which I have to say, well, of course I have a relationship to the unseen, so yeah, I guess I do believe in ghosts. This is what I hear you doing with God. You have defined the God that most people believe in, and we know this is the God that most people believe in.
I was asked what God I believed in.
Yes, no, but I'm asking you what percentage. Yes, but you by shifting the definition, you have robbed the noun, the traditional noun, of its traditional meaning, and you're imparting to people
Wait a second.
Why is everybody celebrating? Why is everybody clapping? Yeah, you got called out.
Good God.
Oh, wait, hold on. Antiquity is resurgent. Did you hear Jordan Peterson's speech at Ephesus? It was a shit show. Is that the one in Israel where he started crying and saying, you're the beacon of light, you're the light into the nations? These grifters think they're so smart, it's not a complicated question. No, it's really not. It's very straightforward. Do you believe in the God of the Bible or not?
Now, there's a lot of Jordan Peterson 101. There's a lot of hits running simultaneously here, JP, because we've already touched on the idea of chaos and the necessary inevitable emergence of patterns within chaos. And it seems that you are positing to a degree that this chaos is analogous to perhaps the collective unconscious, and some of the patterns that are emerging in AI models, even with the biases evident within them, are an indicator of how...
His teeth look so fake. He's got fake, like, drug addict teeth.
How these patterns emerge really within a container. And I suppose to say a container is to indicate that we're acknowledging an absolute. We've moved from this idea of a collective unconscious and patterns emerging within chaos into sacrifice, which is obviously another great Jordan Peterson theme. And as you say, perhaps
I pity people that watch this and just think, these guys are so deep. These guys are so smart and spiritual.
Arching theme of the Bible. My contribution to this incredible amount of information that you are relaying, it has to do with where might one...
Stay free, Russell Brand. Stay free. Stay free on your knees, being a slave to Zion.
Tension carry you, in so much as it seems that in this process of maturation and a personal relationship with sacrifice, how that develops and evolves, it seems to me, is when one starts to acknowledge that there is...
It's funny how they're trying to attribute all this deep philosophical meaning to the sacrifice of Jesus when it's just a retelling of Yom Kippur, the ritual scapegoat Day of Atonement sacrifice, where the sins of the Israelites are placed onto the goat by the high priest, and then it's chased out into the wilderness as a bribe offering to Satan. That's where it comes from. That's the meaning. That's the context. That's the origins. Why won't they won't tell you that. They instead want to give you all this mumbo jumbo, all this hippie, new age, try to make the Bible sound good to people like that, to that audience.
When you use the phrase immediately beneficial, that when we're referring to immediacy, we are talking about both spatial and temporal immediacy, and we might have to consider that when dealing with the sublime, as surely the Bible is, that even these categories are called into question, the most basic and taken for granted categories of any temporal creature will have to be challenged. This perhaps helps me to understand how the ultimate sacrifice as rendered in the New Testament, and most I suppose would regard as the defining Christian image, the image of sacrifice, can tackle the complex idea of the pact that is made by the sacrifice of the man God. Because as I explore and attempt to understand Christianity more deeply, the nature of the triumvirate, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and the nature of this pact is something that I'm mulling over, and I feel that the reason I can't reach resolution is because it's irresoluble. Because I
can't handle anymore. These guys didn't make one good